Janet in Michigan, thanks for holding her on the air.
Hi there, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Well, this is my opinion. With all the shit that I've seen...
Man, we're going to have to let you go, okay? This is a syndicated radio show. All right. Let's go ahead and take another call here. Let's go ahead and talk to Rachel in Oregon. Rachel, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm calling because I was in traffic the other day in downtown Portland, and I saw a vehicle that had police written on it in big letters, but above it, and it just passed us in the intersection. It said federal, and then after it was one word, and then below it another. So I think it said
No, they do have federal and what they call national police that are federal showing up everywhere. I see them all the time here in Austin. And, I mean, think about Obama saying, I want year-round school. States won't get their money unless they have 12 months of school. How did the federal government – these are not independent school districts. They're little local whorehouse groups that get federal money that came from the states to begin with to follow their orders. And it's disgusting.
Now, are these new, or are they just something I haven't noticed before?
We first started seeing federal police back in the early 1990s. But no, under Homeland Security, they're federalizing everything. Every major department's already been completely federalized. And they're even putting Army liaisons in. And they're putting them into these threat fusion centers normally run by the Pentagon. And they every month show the cops a new feature. Oh, today we're going to show you how to track everybody in real time. And the cops are just happy to be there. They're honored members of the department. And the FEMA gets up and says, under an emergency system, we're looking for terrorists or criminals. You just put in their Social Security number, and all known cell phones registered under their name under the Telecommunications Act come up live. So they put in Alex Jones' Social Security number, and bloop, there he is right there on this street in South Austin. And, you know, they just keep introducing the new slave grid. Oh, now here's a license plate reading system. And then they tell them, if anybody does anything, go ahead and put them in a database. Put as many Americans as you can in the database. And they just turned them all into little federal secret police.
And we thought Portland was going to be pretty difficult to get to pass the flu, because there's a lot of people here who would probably oppose it, but it's getting stranger and stranger out here.
It is. God bless you. Good to hear from you. It is getting insane. It doesn't matter if your town's liberal, your town's conservative. They just come in. Look, most mayors and county commissioners are social climbers, and they get taken to the state house. They get taken to federal meetings. They get flown to meetings, and they're told, you move up the power structure if you implement this. And the same global system is being implemented worldwide. They're making neighbor kids visiting your kids at your house illegal worldwide. They're making being normal illegal. They're making just living your life illegal. They're doing it everywhere. Right here in Austin, Texas, they're announcing that you'll be thrown out of school and then be arrested if you don't take the regular flu shot and then the H1N1. So really what's happening here is we are seeing a precedent being set where school children, healthcare workers, you name it, have to take the flu shot. We're seeing that added to the list of 60-plus vaccines they claim are mandatory. Now, remember, Governor Rick Perry claimed that the Gardasil shot was mandatory. Now, that was a lie. He just put it on the list of health department, state health department, listed mandatory under policy. Then public schools lied and would kick you out for truancy, saying you'd violated policy if you hadn't taken it, never telling you there was a waiver they were supposed to give you for the policy under state law. So even if you're for these shots, it's all fraud-driven. So it says, should healthcare workers be required to get flu shot? And all over the nation they are. All over the nation they're suing. before I get to the flu news, I wanted to show you this. CCTV website recruits video vigilantes. Governments in the U.S. and England are paying people to spy. They call it volunteer, though, but then they pay you to spy on the surveillance cameras and report to police. They want you to be involved in it. Here's the New York Times. They say license plate scanning readers are spreading all over the city now. See, the whole country's already got these. They're just announcing them to you now. I wanted to show that to you. Now, getting back into flu. Here is just the regular influenza virus vaccine, one of the big 5 brands, and it says contains thimerosal, a mercury derivative, as a preservative. And if you calculate the 25 mcgs, that is roughly 5 times what it had previously. So they're on the news saying it's not in there. It's in all 5 brands. And there's even more in the regular one, and there's even more of the adjuvant squalene in there. So this much squalene killed large percentages of the troops that were forced to take it with the anthrax and smallpox. They don't care. They're doing it here. Now, I wanted to get to this. This is from The Nation magazine. Human vaccine test put off again. They are not doing an H1N1 test. This is an unapproved, but under level 6 UN emergency. They are going to market today with the first 200,000. First, they said they didn't have 200 million shots. They announced today, the feds did, that they have 200 million ready. 200 million, or 2/3 of the 300 million population in this country, with another 100 million being made. They're acting like police are guarding it when it's delivered. Everyone wants it. There's long lines. Yeah, hypochondriac idiots who want to get it. They're hyping up of 100 women who had the H1N1 who went to the hospital. Of the sickest who already went, 23 died, or 1/5. They don't tell you when you read deeper that they all had pre-existing conditions, or that it's killing much less than the regular flu. But here's what's scary. They haven't tested it, but they're rolling out with the first 10 million dosages starting today with a live virus. And I saw this on Fox this morning. I mean, I already knew this, but to see them admit, oh, yes, it's live, and it may give some people the flu, but that's okay. And so they spray it in their nasal passage. The virus grows in the sinus, and then they sneeze it on you. And so the hospitals will now, and the police departments will now become giant incubation centers. And it's a religion to these cops to do what they're told. So they're going to go, oh, I love it. I love the government. And let me tell you, you guys doing this are out of your minds. And some of you will undoubtedly have adverse reactions or die. By the way, don't believe me on that front? Here is the Mayo Clinic, one of the most respected virology centers in the country. Influenza virus vaccine live. I'm reading from the headline, nasal route. Not the intramuscular or the echodermis or the different ways they deliver it under the skin or into the muscle. No, this is the nasal route. In the snout. Influenza virus vaccine live nasal route. And this is a live H1N1. And this is all 5 of these companies patented and cloned this exact DNA sequence, RNA sequence, in 2007 and got patents. And that's why they said, oh, we'll have this in a few months, not 6 months to a year like normal, because we already had it. Then they admit in last year's vaccine program, they had virus simulants. And then you go look at what that means, or virus track, it means live virus. They put this crap out in the other hemisphere. That's where this all came from. That's why top virologists have said, yeah, we've looked at this under electron microscopes. This was clearly made in the lab. Now, do they know something we don't know? Is this going to mutate now? Because they said that if the nasal was live, it would be mega deadly. Because that's where it's guaranteed in millions of people to mutate. And it's probably going to mutate into a bad form. Because you'll have hundreds of different mutations. And then the very same bastards will just sit up there and go, we don't know why everybody's starting to die. Take your shots. We told you so. I mean, is that what we're about to see happen? There's no end to you criminals. There's no end to you people. And they go on to list the hundreds of medical conditions and the hundreds of drugs that if you're on them, don't take it. But I'll guarantee you, at your local pediatrician clinic, they're mainly giving this to kids. They don't tell you, it says in here, don't give it to little kids. I'll guarantee you, because they're, look at this. And by the way, Burmis is doing great research. He keeps handing me articles. I want him to give this all to Paul Watson and Kurt to post in our developing flu section, just where you can go read it for yourself.